Feel the power. The Ultimate Truth Podcast.
Ultimate Wrestling fans, welcome back to this, the Ultimate Truth Podcast. Today we're going to be discussing WCW superstar Renegade, Richard Wilson, the man who came in like a whirlwind to WCW in 1995. The illusion was cast that he was the Ultimate Warrior, but it was not that way. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Master Amir. He is my tag team partner right here, one of my tag team partners, Warrior University graduate David. David, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, how's it going, Amir?
I'm doing fantastic, but I would be doing a lot better, David, if you, Ultimate Wrestling fans, gorilla pressed that subscribe button. If you hit the likes, hit the notification bells, and if you do us a solid, share this video on all your social media platforms. We want to get the word out. This is the definitive Ultimate Warrior podcast right here, carrying on the lineage, the legacy rather. Special guest galore coming up down the pike here, but you're going to get valuable information, all positive right here. And also consider becoming a channel member for just $4.99 a month. We greatly appreciate it. It helps fuel the fire that ignites the Ultimate Truth Podcast here on the Masters of Wrestling. It's just the price of a cup of coffee, and it helps us to promote and do greater things for you moving forward in the future. All right, so David, the Renegade. It's 1995. Yes. It's the peak of professional wrestling for WCW. We see the vignettes. We see the man behind the mist, behind Hulk Hogan. What are you thinking when you saw this as a kid, my man?
It's funny because was around that time I was either like in that 10-year-old age range, and at that time like I had known this is all work. I remember when I first found that out, I didn't want to admit to it, but eventually I did, and I was just kind of I just love this stuff, and I also had it in my mind as well. I was a big Mystery Science Theater 3000 fan. Okay. For people that are not familiar with that show, it's basically like a comedy show with a guy and some robots that make fun of bad movies. So I already had it in my head, like there are things out in this world that are so bad that they're good, and it's okay to enjoy them and laugh. Yeah. Even if it's like everybody in the world hates it, but if you get a laugh out of it, just enjoy it. So when the Renegade was being hyped up, I was not privy to any kind of dirt sheets at that time. The internet was still very young at the time. I didn't have access to the internet. And the promos would just have like a silhouette of what people thought was the Ultimate Warrior, and Hulk Hogan more or less hyping up that this was the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah. So when I was watching this all go down, initially I thought it was the Ultimate Warrior, but then as you got closer and closer to what was the event, Uncensored 95, somebody else comes out. Yeah. And it's just kind of like I can't recall if I knew that it was not going to be him, because there was a promo with Hulk Hogan saying, "This is not the Ultimate Warrior. Right, this is the ultimate solution." Something, right? So my memory is kind of fuzzy as to whether or not I knew it was going to be Warrior or not that came out. But when this other person came out, I was like, this is so hilarious. And I just loved every second of it. And the fact that they put the belt on this guy and had him beating legitimate, main event wrestlers. I was having a great time watching the Renegade.
I remember vividly, because my uncle Paul had sent me the tapes at the time. I think he just left WCW as Jean-Paul Levesque, but my uncle
Yes.
Paul, Triple H, had sent me the videos because he knew I was a big Ultimate Warrior fan. And this guy, Renegade, I think one of the things that I did actually believe it was Warrior at first. I remember the vignettes, and I remember the anticipation. Oh my, gosh, this is incredible. That's it. WCW is the only place to be now. It's the only place to watch. That's the Warrior. But I remember that initial when he ran to the ring, just by the way he ran, I knew it was not him. Although I will say this, they did a great job in like that. I noticed he had the arm paint, the R, where the
Yes.
tattoo would have been on the Warrior's arm. So they were very strategic in perhaps hiding things to make you think that it was Warrior. Um, I think Richard Wilson did a fantastic job
Yeah.
embodying this larger than life character. I think he tried the best he could, and his initial look was fantastic with the airbrush tights and everything else. I think it was great to begin with.
Yeah. If for, I wasn't privy to, I was like a little bit privy to the independent scene at that time, which was
Mhm.
just a lot of guys that you never heard of who looked like you didn't want to hear, of them, period. And
Yeah,
then maybe it'd be like Big Boss Man versus Nails, as the main event, or Jimmy Snuka or somebody like that.
yeah,
So I knew that there were like some fake, guys on the independent scene. So seeing him come out and just having him being with Hogan from the get-go, I was vastly impressed. At some point, like, we all see it. Some of us saw it as a joke,
mhm,
but at some point, it's kind of like, okay, well, he's going to be on the shows for a longer time. They have him winning a belt, and I was just getting into it. Obviously, he was not like the perfect wrestler by any means, but one thing that you talk about on on your shows, and what we talk about here, a lot of guys don't throw themselves into the character that they're trying to create,
right.
and he totally did it. Granted, he's the dollar store Ultimate Warrior, but he put he put his all into it. That a lot of people were looking forward to the Renegade.
Yeah.
Me and my friends at that time, we were Renegade fans.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that was great, one of the things that led to that, though, Ultimate fans, was apparently WCW was trying to bring the Warrior in, but they could not secure him. They could not pull off a deal. So I guess in some ways, I would think probably with Bischoff's mind, this could have been sort of retaliatory, where it's like, okay, we can't have you, so we're going to recreate you as the Renegade sort of thing. Again, I don't know what the Warriors' feelings were that on personally. I'm sure when we have Steve back on with us or somebody else who worked with him for a prolonged period of time, we will ask them that specific question and find out what he thought of the Renegade. But nonetheless, the bigger picture is this. And I do want to speak a little bit about the personal life of Richard Wilson here. He started as an escort. I guess he was a male escort before he became a professional wrestler. So again, I won't go into details to what that is, but yeah, if you do a little bit of research, you can find out. He saw wrestling on TV and he thought, this is great. I want to become a wrestler. He comes in, he's thrust straight into the spotlight. He's at the top of the card. He's with Hulk Hogan, he's with Macho Man, with Jimmy Hart. And then within a year, he has completely been relegated to basically a carpenter status, or what people call enhancement talent. He's lost most of the gimmick. He's lost Jimmy Hart. He's lost Hulk Hogan. And then for the next 2 years of his career, he's just basically floundering in WCW as a carpenter. And by the end of his run, he looked nothing like the Renegade. And then 2 months after his contract ended, he took his own life, sadly. So I want us to touch a little bit on this, David, because in keeping with what Warrior was doing, which is trying to motivate and inspire people like we do here on the podcast, let's talk about mental health for a second here. And one of the things that struck me in this is always be your own person. And that goes for all of you in life. Don't try and emulate somebody else and copy someone else and just, oh, that looks like they're having fun in life. I'll take that career just to be like that person. David, I don't know if you've ever experienced that or seen anybody who's just emulated someone's life, copied it, and then they're miserable 10 years down the line. You ever seen anything like that?
Oh yeah. I kind of feel like this is like a segue into talking about that independent wrestler, One Warrior Nation.
Yes.
But I don't know the guy personally. We'll talk a little bit about him. We could do
Mm.
an episode if
We shall. Yeah.
listeners are interested. But the Renegade, for one thing, he was put into that spot. I don't know if that was something he wanted to do, but obviously this was definitely like in my opinion, this is just my guess. This is something Hogan wanted to do, even though Bischoff said that they didn't talk with the Warrior. And I remember Hogan on the Self Destruction DVD said like he may have seen a tape of Warrior on the Indies, and his idea was to just have a random guy, be the Ultimate Warrior. So, as we all saw, like he got put into the spotlight, went straight to the top. Unlike Hogan guys like a Brutus Beefcake or Hillbilly Jim or Hacksaw Jim Duggan, they dropped him like a bad habit.
Yeah.
They wiped off the pain from his face. You're not the Renegade. You're just plain old Rick. And then like usually people would think after that he would keep going, but no, like he just started going slowly down that hill. And
Mhm.
as they say, the price of fame, you'll burn up in flame.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel I don't know what he was specifically going through. I don't know what guys who dress up like the Ultimate Warrior, like One Warrior Nation. I don't know what's going through their minds.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, you got to be yourself, and if
Mhm.
something's not working, and it's dragging you down a hole, you got to be able to recognize
Mhm.
what's like, hey, there's an issue going on. Like, I'm not the guy that I was before. I'm not having a good time.
Mhm.
And you got to be able to be man enough to pull the plug on
Mhm.
projects, jobs, people in your
Mhm.
life that are not bringing the best out of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel with the Renegade, in his case, it was probably he was at the top. I don't know if there was like it was a contractual thing, or if he was just thinking, if I stick it out a bit longer, things are going to change. But being at the top and getting dropped like a bad habit, it'll really mess with your mind. But people need to be strong enough to recognize like something's going wrong.
Yeah.
What do I need to do to change it, and not feel hopeless? Because
Right.
as bad as things are, life is not static. Growth is not like a linear thing. Growth is always kind of like it's all over the place. You can lose your job and then not work for years, and then all of a sudden you get a call from somebody, or application goes through,
Mhm.
and you're getting paid more than you were in the past. So
Yeah.
it's something people need to consider, that everything is temporary, even success.
Yeah.
But don't get disheartened by things not going your way.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking from experience working in the professional wrestling business as a performer, going out there in front of people, one of the things I also think as well, it's such a for some people, it's a very intense position to be in, just because I think they're out of their element. And I think if it feels intense to you, you should reassess where you need to be in life. It's got to come to you organically and naturally. And also, you've got to learn to speak up.
Yeah.
Like there's a million ways Renegade could have gone after doing that character. I mean, I don't know, I wasn't there, but he could have gone Eric Bischoff and says, "Hey, I got an idea. No one's going to notice me because I had face paint on. I can completely change and do another character." You got to speak up. Also, you got to keep, and this goes to anybody in life, you got to keep an eye on your peers. You got to keep an eye on your neighbors, your fellow man. If you see somebody starting to retract, starting to get strange, as it were, ask them what the problem is. What's the matter? Be there for them, support them, encourage them. And like David said, echoing what Warrior would say, you've got to find out who you are. You can't rely and then, pretend to be somebody else. That's not going to get you. It may get you fame and money for a short period of time, but at the end of your life, it could leave you in a very miserable state, an unfulfilled state. So we don't want to be that. I just, pray for the members of Richard Wilson's family that are still mourning him, because that's not going to end. You know, that's a brother, that's a son, that's never going to end. So want to give our condolences to them again. You know, be thankful for what he did, for the contributions he did to the business, and be respectful of the character that he put forth. It was a job, and he had to do that. So just want to say that. And yeah. But David, I think this has been an excellent segment, just reflecting on the career of this young man who left way too soon, you know.
Yeah, I feel the feeling is pretty mutual against with all fans. Like the Renegades, you know, run in WCW may not have been the best, but it's very memorable. And all the guys that were, you know, friends with him, I know Stevie Ray has said a lot of great things about him. So it just seemed like a very unfortunate end to like a legitimately good guy.
Absolutely. So I want to say that again, thankful for his career and his life. And we want to thank each and every one of you, Ultimate Wrestling fans, for giving us a little bit of your time tuning in with us here, the Ultimate Truth Podcast, the definitive Ultimate Warrior podcast. Make sure that you Gorilla Press slam that subscribe button. Don't leave without doing it. That's free. Also, hit the likes, hit the notifications bell. Grab this video link and share it across your social media platforms. Shake up the internet and tell them that the Ultimate Truth Podcast is there. And again, consider becoming a channel member for just the price of a cup of coffee. We truly greatly appreciate that. That helps us grow, that helps us promote more, that helps us bringing special guests to entertain each and every one of you and inform you, and we want you to be part of that. David, I want to thank you, sir, and I want to give all glory to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, for without him, I would not have strength. Without him, I wouldn't even be doing this. We do this for a reason. We're here in this life. We only have one of them here before we return to our Father in heaven. So let's make the best of it. Until the next time, everybody, God bless. Students, your time has come. I have decided that it's time to share some of my knowledge with you. That's right. Do you want to become a true legendary professional wrestling character? Do you want to learn how to project your voice, to enunciate, to come up with the greatest promos that you possibly could? Then you need to join me each and every week for just $50. I am hosting a masterclass on Zoom. That's right. You don't have to travel. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. I will teach you how to become the greatest character you can be. I will help you discover who you truly are. I will help you with taglines, promos, etc., etc. Join me for just $50 a week in a masterclass of wrestling character development. There's a reason they call us the Masters of Wrestling.
Fans, the time has come for you to flex your appreciation in style. The Masters of Wrestling delivers the most truthful pro wrestling content week in, week out. And now we want you to show your support wherever you go. Power and Glory, the podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. Styling, the podcast t-shirts. Order yours now. To order your t-shirt and for shipping information, use the email